The second report of the year in Chartwell's Customer Care Service is IVRs and Speech Recognition 2012. The report, which examines the state of interactive voice response systems in the utility industry, was written by Chris Brenneman, a research analyst at Chartwell. Chris, how many utilities are now using interactive voice response units, or IVRs, to handle customer contacts?
About 90% of utilities now have an IVR within their contact center. That's actually up about 7% from 2009. And if you look at it over the last decade, is up significantly. We're looking at an increase of probably about 30% over that period. And when you look at an IVR, these are the systems that are taking the bulk of the incoming calls. About 90% of calls industry-wide begin in the IVR.
Based on your research, how are customers responding to the technology?
Containment rate within an IVR system industry-wide is up to about 30% now. This is up about 4.9% from 2004 when Chartwell first started tracking that number. And if you look at the biggest increase, it has actually come in the last 4 years, from 2007 to 2011 is the biggest jump that we've seen there. And on the topic of IVR containment, this is an area where a utility can see significant savings.
Have any design standards been discovered in the industry thus far?
There's not really one true design standard when you talk about an IVR within the utility industry. There are, however, some best practices, and if you take a look at some of the survey data that we have received over the last few years, which we detail in this report, you can see that a lot of utilities agree that fewer options per menu level is really the best way to go. Even some experts that we have spoke to kind of agree with this point, and you can kind of see when you read this report what their take on it is, how wide and how deep the menu really should be. And then another thing that we really get into is the gender of the voice and whether or not that really makes a difference.
The report also addresses speech recognition. Can you talk a little bit about how this technology is trending in the industry?
Speech recognition technology was really brought to the forefront of people's minds this past October when Apple released its iPhone 4S, which of course featured the Siri technology. Speech recognition within the utility industry seems to actually be waning just a little bit. More and more utilities are no longer considering speech recognition technology, and of course we detail this in the report, and we have several breakdowns of this information. How many utilities are considering it? How many are not considering it? How many are actually planning it? And when we look at those numbers of the utilities that are still planning to implement speech technology, it seems that the numbers are beginning to plateau just a little bit.
The IVRs and Speech Recognition 2012 report is now available for download by Chartwell members on the Energy Library. The link to download the report is below, as is information for those utilities that would like to inquire about Chartwell's membership.